It wasn't until I reached the age of 59 that I truly understood the extent of life's experiences I had overlooked. That was the year everything transformed, when I began to ponder. Grace, what has restrained you all these years? What have you chosen to forego? The inquiry struck me as both a chastisement and an epiphany. Confronting the truth was no simple task, yet the revelations lay in wait, revealing themselves to me in the most unforeseen manner. As I embarked on the task of clearing out the attic of my old house, a space I had deliberately steered clear of for more than 10 years, the moment unfolded with an air of anticipation. Since William, my husband of 35 years, had passed away, that space had transformed into a quiet sanctuary for memories I found too painful to revisit. Yet on that day, an unexpected surge of resolve compelled me to face it, head on. The attic unfolded before me precisely as I had recalled a labyrinth of dusty boxes, neglected treasures, and a lingering mustiness that constricted my breath. As I neared the first box, I carefully pried it open, revealing a photo album that had long been hidden from my sight. The mere sight of it rendered me motionless. With deliberate care, I lifted the cover, and the initial image arrested my attention completely. It hails from my 20s. There I stood basking in the warmth of the sun on a pristine beach, a cocktail cradled in one hand, laughter spilling forth as if the world had melted away. Adorned in a striking yellow bikini and large sunglasses, I exuded an air of carefree confidence, as if the burdens of life could not touch me. The image of youthful, untroubled grace awakened a profound feeling inside me. As I turned the pages, the sound of footsteps reached my ears. Surprised, I glanced over to find Ethan, my step-grandson, framed in the doorway. It had been 3 long years since I last laid eyes on him, not since he departed for work. At 29, he had transformed from the slender youth I once knew. He had matured into a self-assured, broad-shouldered figure. Grace, he called, lifting a paper bag in one hand and a coffee cup in the other. Ethan, I responded, a mix of surprise and true joy washing over me. What brings you to this place? As he strolled by, he noticed your car parked outside, a casual smile gracing his lips. I decided to swing by and see how you're doing. Before I could voice my objections, he advanced deeper into the attic, his gaze sweeping across the room until it settled on the photo album. I held tightly. What is that? Inquired his curiosity. Piqued, it's merely an old album, I murmured, holding it close to my heart. Yet Ethan was already advancing nearer. He seized the album without a word and turned to the photograph of me on the beach. He responded without hesitation. Is this you indeed? I confessed, a nervous chuckle escaping my lips. Ethan gazed at the photo, lingering over it for a moment, longer than I had anticipated. Wow, he exclaimed at last, locking his gaze with mine. Your appearance is truly remarkable. It's difficult to envision you in this way. Words eluded me. His voice carried a blend of admiration and awe that sent a warm flush to my cheeks. We settled into our seats, and he began to turn the pages with a gentle flick. Every photograph appeared to uncover a facet of myself that I had long since overlooked. One version of myself existed at a nightclub adorned in a shimmering red dress, while another danced freely, barefoot, at a rooftop gathering. You were wild, Ethan remarked, his voice laced with incredulity. Everyone experiences their untamed years, I remarked, dismissing it lightly. As I observed him examining each photograph, with such intrigue and unfamiliar warmth began to unfurl within me a sensation I hadn't experienced in many years. The dialogue unfolded seamlessly as we delved deeper into the album. chuckling over past hairstyles and reflecting on the profound changes life had brought us. Yet amidst those shared moments, the atmosphere between us started to change as Ethan finally shut the album. His eyes remained fixed on me. "You are truly remarkable, Grace," he murmured gently. "There's something about this moment that makes it feel as though I'm encountering you anew." His words rendered me speechless. It felt like an eternity since someone had gazed at me with that kind of intensity or addressed me with such heartfelt appreciation. Unsure of how to articulate my thoughts, I chose silence, trusting that my face would communicate the feelings I struggled to express. Ethan extended his hand, grasping mine with a warmth that felt both reassuring and unwavering. "Grace," he started, his voice soft and earnest, "your beauty transcends the ordinary. It is truly extraordinary." My heart quickened as our eyes locked. After years of feeling invisible, I finally sensed a recognition that transcended my identity. As the widow left behind, I was acknowledged as the woman I once was. That moment transformed everything. The days that followed that encounter were imbued with a vibrant energy within me. Ethan lingered longer than anticipated, graciously offering his assistance with the attic cleanup. We immersed ourselves for hours in a sea of boxes, sharing laughter over forgotten trinkets and unearthing fragments of my past that had slipped from memory. Yet it was not solely the attic that stirred with life in those fleeting instances. I was the one afternoon. As I rummaged through a box of vintage clothes, I stumbled upon an old dress, a striking emerald green, adorned with a dramatic neckline and a fitted waist. In my 20s, it held a special place in my heart, and encountering it once more flooded me with a wave of nostalgia. "You ought to give it a go," Ethan proposed, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. There was a moment of uncertainty. "Oh, I doubt it would even fit now. There's but a single path to discovery," he remarked, a smile playing on his lips. Inspired by his fervor, I donned the dress. To my astonishment, it embraced me perfectly. As I stepped out of the hallway, Ethan's face transformed into an inscrutable mask. "You look stunning," he murmured softly. Heat rose to my cheeks beneath his intense gaze, igniting a spark of confidence that had long lain dormant. As the days morphed into weeks, Ethan and I found ourselves entwined in a bond that was both reassuring and unsettling. An inexplicable force drew us together, a connection I found impossible to articulate or dismiss. Yet alongside that allure there lingered a sense of guilt. In the quiet of a late evening, while I was immersed in the task of washing dishes in the kitchen, Ethan materialized behind me. Silently, he rested his hand on my shoulder. The heat of his hand ignited a tremor along my back. "You're overthinking again," he said softly, as though he could see into my mind. How could I possibly refrain? I responded, my voice scarcely rising above a whisper. "This is not typical. Who determines what is considered normal?" He responded with rebuttal. His words lingered. "In the atmosphere, daring to unravel all that I believed to be true." One evening after Ethan had retired for the night, I found myself alone in the living room, gazing at the photo album we'd unearthed once more. The photographs of my younger self seemed to belong to someone else entirely, a version of me that embodied fearlessness, unapologetic spirit, and a sense of liberation. Where has she vanished to? I whispered softly to myself. The solution was straightforward. She found herself weighed down by the relentless burden of years, filled with responsibilities, sorrow, and a nagging sense of inadequacy. Yet in the wake of Ethan's presence igniting a spark within me, I sensed the slightest hint of her resurgence. With the passage of time, Ethan's visits evolved into a familiar routine. With every departure, the heaviness of his absence pressed down on me more intensely as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the porch. He turned to me, his expression suddenly grave. "Grace." He started, his voice firm, yet laced with a hint of fragility. "I'm unsure how to express this without it coming across incorrectly, but I've never experienced these feelings for anyone else before." My breath hitched in my throat. Understand, it's intricate," he persisted. "Yet I cannot feign that these emotions are not real." His candor left me in a state of shock. "I don't know what to do." I confessed, my voice trembling. "Let us unravel this together," he stated with an air of simplicity. The path that lay ahead was fraught with challenges. We encountered scrutiny, uncertainty within ourselves, and an endless stream of inquiries regarding the essence of our connection. Yet amidst everything, one truth stood unwavering. We discovered a connection that was both extraordinary and inescapable between us. After years of numbness, I experienced a profound sense of vitality, a genuine aliveness. As I gazed into Ethan's eyes, a realization washed over me. Life is far too fleeting to allow fear to restrain me any longer. Following that conversation, on the porch, I became ensnared in a tumultuous sea of emotions. Ethan's words echoed in my thoughts, infusing my silent moments with a blend of anticipation and discomfort. The notion of seeking anything beyond our bond seemed simultaneously unattainable, and destined. I was acutely aware of the whispers that would follow, the scrutiny that would inevitably arise. The murmurs of neighbors seemed to echo in my ears, accompanied by the pointed disapproval of family members. William's family in particular would never grasp the situation. They would perceive it as a profound betrayal of his memory. Yet William had been absent for more than 10 years. Was it truly some misguided to seek joy once more? One day, while Ethan and I rummaged through a box of old letters, I stumbled upon a letter that William had penned to me before he left this world. It lay nestled within an envelope inscribed to Grace, "When you need it most." My hands quivered as I unsealed it. Ethan, acutely aware of the weight of the situation, settled into silence next to me. In his tidy, recognizable script, William's words seemed to transcend the boundaries of time. Should you find yourself perusing these words, it signifies that I am no longer present beside you. It is important for you to understand that the deepest happiness I have ever experienced came from loving you. Yet existence continues even when one of us departs. It is a treasure intended to be experienced completely and without remorse. Should you ever feel an attraction to another someone who brings laughter reminiscent of our shared moments or reflects the beauty and vibrancy within you, embrace it fully, adore them, embrace life for the both of us. As I approached the conclusion, tears cascaded down my cheeks. Ethan's hand rested on my back, his touch anchoring me as I took in William's last gift, a blessing I had not anticipated, but one it truly needed. "Are you all right?" Ethan inquired softly. I nodded, my voice trembling. I believed that to be the case. Yet the reality was, I found myself uncertain of my emotions, respite thankfulness, or perhaps it is merely the crushing burden of potential. Even with William's assurances, the path ahead was anything but straightforward. Each encounter with Ethan was imbued with a palpable intensity, as though the atmosphere surrounding us crackled with energy. I observed details that had previously escaped my notice, the way his eyes crinkled with joy, the rich resonance of his laughter, the subtle yet profound strength he exuded one evening as we lingered in the kitchen crafting dinner together. Our hands grazed each other while we both reached for the same cutting board. The contact extended beyond what was required, and as our gazes intertwined, an unvoiced understanding flowed between us. I took a step back, my heart racing in. "My guest, this is complicated." I whispered Ethan placed the cutting board aside and pivoted to meet my gaze completely. "It doesn't have to be here marked it is." I maintained, clutching the edge of the counter for stability. "I am your step-grandmother. This is not typical. Who determines what is deemed normal?" He retorted, reflecting his previous sentiments. I averted my eyes, unable to confront his stare. "Conversations will unfold. They will pass judgment. Let them," he declared with conviction. "They remain unaware of who we truly are. They remain unaware of the trials we faced, of the significance we hold for one another." His certainty was simultaneously comforting and frightening. Before long, whispers began to circulate. A neighbor caught sight of Ethan departing from my home late one evening and promptly said about sharing the news. By the next week, murmurs had escalated into bold confrontations one afternoon. While making my way to the market, I caught snippets of conversation between two women, their voices low and conspiratorial. Can you imagine Grace O'Fall? Individuals, and with her step-grandson, it's utterly revolting. The other responded. She ought to feel a sense of shame. Their words pierced through me, yet I held my head high and strode past them, refusing to acknowledge their existence. Yet within I was disintegrating. Upon my return home, I found Ethan patiently awaiting me on the porch. His presence, firm and resolute, stirred emotions within me, causing tears to well up in my eyes. "They're talking about us," I murmured, my voice quaking with uncertainty. "Let them," he replied, drawing me into a warm and reassuring embrace. "They hold no significance." Yet it wasn't solely unfamiliar faces that expressed their disapproval. Upon discovering the news, my daughter Claire erupted with an intensity that was truly remarkable. "How could you, Mama?" she shouted, pacing my living room with a look of disbelief. "He feels like one of us. He is not," I contended, striving to maintain my composure. "Not by blood, and certainly not in the manner you presume. That doesn't make it right," she retorted sharply. What might Father ponder if he were present in this moment? I presented her with William's letter, wishing it would illuminate her understanding. She perused the words in silence, her features easing just a touch, yet still clouded by uncertainty. "Text, I don't understand," she murmured at last, her voice now barely above a whisper. "He is considerably younger than you. What could he possibly find in you?" Her words pierced through me, yet I stood firm. "He perceives me, Claire, not merely as a widow or an elderly woman, but as a person deserving of love." As the weeks stretched into months, Ethan and I braved the tempest of judgment side by side. There were instances when the weight of the pressure seemed insurmountable, leading me to contemplate whether it might be simpler to just turn away. Yet whenever uncertainty began to seep in, Ethan stood by to remind me of the purpose behind our struggle. He inspired me to unearth the facets of my being that I had concealed throughout the years. We embraced the art of dancing, a passion I had set aside since my 30s. We embarked on a hiking adventure, discovered new dining spots, and even crafted plans for a weekend escape to the coast. After many years, a sense of vitality surged through me. Yet it was not solely the external transformations that held significance I was undergoing, a transformation within myself as well. I ceased to be overly concerned with the opinions of others. I began to accept that my happiness deserved to be pursued, even if it didn't align perfectly with societal norms. As I nurtured my garden one day, a car glided into the driveway. To my astonishment, it was Claire. She merged a blend of uncertainty, unresolve etched on her face. "Mom," she began, her voice a gentle whisper softer than it had been in weeks. "May we engage in a conversation?" I nodded my hands, brushing against the fabric of my apron. We lingered on the porch, the late afternoon sun enveloping us in a gentle golden embrace. Claire confessed that she had been reflecting deeply on your words regarding how he perceives you, and she felt she had come to a clear understanding now. Her words took me by surprise. So much of my life has been consumed by the relentless pursuit of meeting others' expectations, she continued, and it has left me in a state of misery. Yet you possess a remarkable courage, Mother. You are embracing joy, even in the face of difficulty. Emotions surged within me as I extended my hand toward hers. "I merely wish for your happiness." As well I expressed. Claire nodded, a faint smile emerging from her otherwise serious demeanor. "I'm giving it my best effort. Mom, I truly am." With the passage of time, the whispers gradually diminished as the chatter faded into the background. Those who truly mattered, my family and closest friends, started to embrace Ethan and me for who we truly were. One evening, as well lingered on the porch beneath the vast expanse of stars, Ethan faced me, his expression gravely earnest. "Grace," he said, taking my hand, "you've given me something I never thought I'd find, a home, a purpose, and a love I never knew was possible." A smile graced my lips, my heart brimming with joy. "You have restored my life." I responded at that instant. I realized we had chosen wisely in the face of adversity, scrutiny, and doubt. We discovered something extraordinary and exquisite, a love that transcended norms and rejuvenated our very souls. As Grace and Ethan navigated the intricate tapestry of their unconventional love story, they illuminated a profound truth for us all. Joy frequently resides beyond the confines of societal approval. Their bravery in pursuing their true desires in the face of criticism stands as a powerful affirmation of love and the journey of self-exploration. How do you perceive their journey? Was it an audacious expression of love, or do you hold a different perspective? We invite you to express your thoughts in the comments section below. Your insights on this poignant and reflective narrative would be greatly appreciated. If this video resonated with you, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the History Minute for more captivating tales that inspire thought, evoke emotion, and encourage reflection. Activate the notification bell to ensure you never overlook a moment. We appreciate your viewership, and we look forward to connecting with you in the next installment.